Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Oneness Junkie podcast, hosted by me, Lydia Smith, a self-proclaimed Oneness Junkie. Oneness Junkie is a place to be inspired, encouraged, and supported. Learn from the individuals who are working to make the world a better place. Let's meet today's guest. Hi, everyone. It's Lydia with the Oneness Junkie podcast and YouTube channel. And today I'm here with a new guest that I'm really excited about introducing you to. I'm sitting here with Nicole Lavery. Hi, Nicole.
Hello, Lydia. So glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm excited to introduce you to our audience. And as you all know, I usually like to share whether I know or don't know the guest. And today I do not know Nicole, but we have had a previous interaction. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we get started, where are you at right now, Nicole?
I am currently right outside of Boulder, Colorado, where I believe it's like a warm 13 degrees. I'm really excited for spring. I'll just say that. Very excited for it.
We had our record low today. It was like 29, which is like negative 13 Celsius or something like that. I looked it up.
Yeah, that's super cold for Texas. You poor thing.
I know, for Houston, for sure. So, okay, in order to get started, I like to have the guest introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us why we're here today, what we're going to talk about, and maybe how you got into it.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. Like Lydia introduced me a couple minutes ago. My name is Nicole Lavery. I am a medical intuitive, quantum energy practitioner, and health coach based outside of Boulder, Colorado. And up until a couple years ago, I was your typical corporate maven, graduated from college, spent 15 years climbing that ladder, doing all of the things, writing, project management, some coaching, team building. It was a great career until I think I hit a point when I realized this isn't very heart-centered. This isn't lighting me up anymore. So I stepped away. At the same time, born and raised right outside of Dallas, Texas. Spent 37 years there. And right around the time that I was realizing corporate wasn't it for me anymore, I decided to move to Colorado. Just a fresh new start, fresh new beginning. And what that ushered in after I stepped away from my corporate job was a world that is still blowing me away to this day. But very long story short, I decided to follow my passion, which has always been health and wellness. I got my health coaching certification through Institute of Integrative Nutrition, did that program. And then as I was starting to build my health coaching practice, I realized there's something that's missing from this. I've always been very spiritual, very connected to the universe, to the divine. And I thought, there's got to be a way that I can marry this expertise that I've developed with my spiritual inclinations and just belief in healing in a lot of different ways and capacities. So synchronicity just, stepped in, and I ran into this woman who developed this healing protocol we'll talk about today. And I'd like to say the rest is history.
And you're going to be making history probably with the type of people you're helping, right? With all new information. And I will tell you that Nicole had found me on the internet and reached out to me. And I really didn't know anything about what we're going to talk about today. And so she had to educate me. And then I wanted to have an experience of it. So we get to talk about that. So tell them the title of what it is that you do, and then would you kind of describe it for us and define it for the audience?
Of course. So I practice a unique form of quantum energy practitioning. That's the general title is Quantum Energy Healing. I'm a practitioner. And there are a lot of people in the healing world that utilize the quantum, which is this field of energy that is made up of everything. And we are beings that exist in the physical realm as you and I kind of know it and experience it. But the quantum is everything outside of that. So it's all energy, it's all matter, it's all frequency. We can't see it, but it's all around us and it's always there. And so by tapping into the quantum, different quantum energy practitioners do it a certain way. Myself and my team, my very small team led by Mary Jo Gentert, who lives outside of the same town that I do in Boulder, we utilize a wooden pendulum that I have right here and several different health protocol charts. Now, on these charts are a variety of imbalances, everything from microorganisms to energy and frequency, nutritional imbalances. So what we do during a session is we tap into an individual's energetic system. This can be done in person or remotely by tapping into them in the field. And this is really just our way of using this pendulum and almost like the Wi-Fi signal that we all know to be true. We can't see Wi-Fi, but we know it's there. We know when it's working. We know when it's not. And so we can tap into an individual's lower consciousness, essentially. When they grant us permission, we can make that connection with this pendulum. And from there, tap into everything that their energy encompasses. So their physical body, their emotional body, mental, so on and so forth. And so when someone comes to us and says, look, I have this issue I'd like to address, it could be some joint pain, it could be an emotional imbalance, it could be something inherited. We can not only tap into the individual as they are right now, but go back in time to imbalances that they accumulated over the course of their life, their parents, their grandparents, multi-generations past, identify them with our chart and our pendulum, asking yes or no questions to dance around this page. And the pendulum will guide us, give us yes or no responses when we're tapped into that individual. Once we identify what the thing is, we clear it in the quantum, and then the individual will experience sort of like a detox. And that this can range depending on what we clear. But the long and short of it is, this quantum field that exists around us is so powerful. And we're just now kind of understanding the breadth and the extent to which we can not just discover little things in everyone's body, but clear them. And, the end result is alleviated symptoms, disease, pain, and higher frequency, which just results in a more vibrant life in all ways, shapes, and forms. And it's really exciting to see that in all the clients that we're working on.
Yeah, that's a wonderful explanation. And would you say that, and I'm just making an assumption, the type of clients who end up coming to you, if they have some kind of a health issue, usually they've resolved all the, traditional pathways to see if their practitioner, their doctor can help them. And a lot of times, if they just don't have an answer on the physical level, in my opinion, and I'm speaking from experience, this is when I go to a scenario like this, where I'm just needing to identify what is it that's causing this physiological reaction in my health journey. And I know from reading books like The Biology of Belief, how important your thoughts and your considerations are to your physical health. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Like, who ends up coming to you?
Oh, you're so spot on with that. And I would like to say we attract a really interesting variety of client. We definitely do attract the ones who have been down a lot of the traditional paths and are frustrated and are throwing their hands up in the air and saying, oh my gosh, like I need answers and let me just go down the energy path. We certainly have those clients. And we have some who have a pretty good intuition and kind of understand where things kind of are in their body, but they're looking for that additional layer of healing that I really want to feel like I've never felt before. Things are okay, like things are good in steady state, but how can I really amp up the good here? So I would say it's like a 50-50 mix of those who really want to optimize their health and those who are kind of struggling with issues, frustrated, and just saying like, what do you see that a lot of my other doctors aren't?
Mm-hmm. So do you have kind of a fun story or just an amazing story that you like to tell of someone you worked with? Of course, we won't be naming any names. It'll be Jane Doe or whoever. So do you want to share something with us so people can have an idea of some of the exciting things you've been working on?
I would, yeah. So I would say 90% of the clients that I work on are remote, which is one of my favorite parts of this work is I can work on somebody located anywhere throughout the world, and they can be going about their day. I don't need them on the phone or Zoom. Again, with their express permission, I can tap into them with this pendulum in my chart. They just have to be awake and well hydrated and in a place to receive the work. So there's this woman that I've been working on for the last year, and I will usually tap into her when she is at work, whether she's on a Zoom or in a meeting. And she emailed me one night before her session. We like to just do a catch up once a week to kind of understand, like, what are the issues she's really facing? What can I focus on? And she just said, I have been having a world of trouble with my neck, sleeping on it wrong, just causing me a lot of pain and discomfort. What can you do? So the next morning, she is on a Zoom meeting with a bunch of people, going like this to her neck. She's not aware in the moment that I'm working on her, but in hindsight, after I'd emailed her, she put two and two together and realized that at the time she was really trying to work something out, I was in her body, clearing out imbalances. In her case, there were some free radicals and some water toxicity. And she just felt like the need to really kind of break this up. She was going back and forth with her neck, and the meeting continued, and she had this moment, this like surge of electricity in her body. All the pain just disappeared. This pain that she was holding on to just disappeared. And so she took a note of it. She was like, it was in 10:27. And about an hour later, I got around to emailing her, letting her know what we cleared from her system. And she said, I cannot believe it. Like, the exact moment that I felt the release of this pain was when you were in my body doing this work. And so I hear that time and time again from people, this like real time, depending on system sensitivity. Some people really do feel it, and other people, it takes, a couple days to really have it integrate. But I thought that was really fun. Just like, it really goes to show the power of this work. I'm also working on someone right now who is going through cancer treatment. He has multiple myeloma, and really amazing case of me working alongside the oncologist. He's going through chemo. He wants to explore the traditional path, but has known that, the power of this quantum work can alleviate a lot of the symptoms that come along with chemo, the nausea, the fatigue. And he's blowing his oncologist away. His oncologist said the other day, in 40 years, I've never seen blood work rebound this quickly. I've also never seen someone your age with this energy to kind of withstand this really intense protocol of chemo. And, my client just looked at him. He's like, I'm working with this energy person. I don't really know, but that's another example of, this is distant work. He lives in the same city, but I'm tapping into him while he's going about his career, his day to day, and really helping clients to move the needle in all aspects of their health is not only, fulfilling and fun, but it's really exciting to see that we have this ability in the quantum.
Mm-hmm. I think you told me when we talked before that you found it. Didn't you find it because you had some issues? Are you comfortable sharing how you found it and what you resolved or what you worked on through it? And that's why you got into it?
Definitely, yes. So when I first stumbled upon this modality, I was at a farmer's market. I ran into the woman who created this. Her name's Mary Jo Gentert, as I'd mentioned before. She has 20 plus years in all different types of energy work. And so when we met, the way she described this quantum healing, there was something in me that just was like, oh, this is a big deal. Like, this is going to be huge. I want to get on this. And at that point, I wasn't thinking about becoming a practitioner. I was just like, I have a handful of things that I would like to address.
You wanted healing.
Yes, heal me, right? Heal me. So I had my first session with her. About 6 weeks later, she's able to get me on her calendar. And I kind of let her have it. I'm like, look, I'm a very healthy person, but anxiety, IBS, menstrual pain, like, those are my big things. Like, what can we do? And the next hour and a half blew me away. I mean, what she was able to find in my body connected to those issues, no doctor would have ever told me, like, oh, hey, like, look into water toxicity you've inherited from your dad that goes back 4 generations. Like, what? I mean, really mind-blowing stuff. But she was finding all different types of like pharmaceutical toxicity, just some general like emotional imbalances, some dehydration in certain organs of mine. And through the process of this healing and then some subsequent sessions I I felt symptoms go away in a way that I never had before in 40 years. I would experience like little improvements here or there, going to see doctors, of course, but this just felt like a full body overhaul. And that's when I realized like the power of this, but also my passion in becoming a practitioner myself.
Yeah, that's exciting. So that leads me to share. I asked you when you reached out to me, I said, this is so new to me. I don't know anything about it. Would you be willing to have me have the experience of it? And you said yes. And so we went through the process. And one of the things you told me is you just can't be asleep. You said that you could be doing, going about your day. And it was odd, like not being on a Zoom with you or anything, but I did, when the time frame was, I did get quiet and I sat in my leather meditation chair that I call it. It's a recliner, and I remember just like saying, I receive, when you were doing the, which is like what you said, you have to give permission, right?
Yes.
And so I did take it seriously and treated it like like an experience of being worked on, I guess you could say. And then after you finished, you wrote up a little scenario for me and you emailed it to me. And there was nothing earth shattering on there that would be embarrassing to really share. But if you want to, do you remember anything? I mean, I actually have the paper here. Do you want me to like talk about something and then you can go into it?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, just pull up a few of those.
Okay, good. All right. So I'll talk about some of the, okay. So explain to them, because I need to hear it again. You were telling me that I wrote this down and correct me if I'm wrong. I was aging at, I have some numbers here. It says 1.6 days of the calendar year. Does that make sense?
Yes. So this is a discovery that, again, Mary Jo, my mentor, made a few months ago, which is through our work. So it's a combination of our energy work and a lifestyle, an assortment of like lifestyle changes that we've identified. We can slow the body's aging rate to what it was intended to be. And in most people's case, that's 0.04% per calendar year, which equates to 1.46 days per calendar year. That's what we were intended to age at. And no one's aging at that rate. The vast majority of people are aging anywhere from 150% to 300%, 700, 1,000 days, way faster because of diet, environment, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So if mine was 1.6, I'm not that much further over what I should be, right? So you were saying that I wasn't accelerated, too much, right? Because I think I'm at 160%, you said?
Yeah. Prior to the session, you were at 160%, which is on the lower end of adults. So you were actually in quite great shape. After the clearing that we did, we cleared out all of the imbalances that your body wanted out and restored your aging rate to that 0.04%.
Awesome. I do think I look good today.
Yes, you do.
Maybe it's the lighting. No, I'm just kidding. So let's go through. Okay, so I asked you the areas I wanted to, and I'm sharing this with the audience because if y'all have something that y'all want to work on, this is the broad range that I gave Nicole to think about when she was clearing, or what I thought I had blocks on that I wanted to edit and clear. Okay, so basically I asked her to look at why I was coughing, because I had like some kind of a virus, and I still had a lingering cough. And she had, said that there was a little bit of that virus still in me and that she cleared that. And I'm going to say this and then you can go back and explain, but she said she cleared it at a 3. And then you looked at, in the cough, you looked at matter, energy, hydrogen. It was located in the lungs, brain, lobe, and cranial nerves. Do you want to discuss how a cough is related to those things?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, in short, basically what we do is we'll start off the session by asking, where specifically in the body is the root cause of this. And so as you rattled off, the viroid, the actual virus was in there, some matter, hydrogen imbalance, which our body always kind of has this perfect place that it should be with regards to good hydrogens and bad. So we're getting very specific in like what's making this up, but we're then going to the spot, like you said, lungs, cranial nerve. So many parts of our brain are tied into not just the immune system, but even just like a response to a cough, because the cranial nerves, like our vagus nerve, is the main kind of highway of nerves that runs all the way down our body. It governs everything. So as those had come up, here I am with my pendulum and my chart, really tapped into your body, asking, it's giving me these yes signals with the pendulum to go here, go here, go here, take all of this stuff out. When you said it was a 3, that was actually the batches of imbalances at given frequencies. So we have to clear based on what the frequency is, allow your body to purge it, then go back in and ask, is there anything else at a different frequency? So all of those parts of your body were impacted by this, by that root cause of the virus and all the other stuff associated with it. So after that, we clear it all out and then ask the body, is there anything else that could be causing it? And we repeat that process until you're at a point where your body's like, nope, we're good.
And didn't you tell me that like the 3 was low? And so what's that range? Could it have been 1, 2, 3, and then anything? How high does it go from 3?
I mean, I've seen it go as high as 15, 20, and that's really
Okay.
indicative of like the batches, the volume, the intensity of whatever we're dealing with. So as compared to that, yeah, it was really clear that your virus was on its way out. All that was
Okay.
left was that cough.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, I also asked you to look into, I'm going to skip the next one, releasing excess weight. And for me, it's all ever since I was, popped out of my mom. I've always, of the children, I'm the I'm the fourth child in a line of 4 girls. And so I was always the one that had like more thickness and density to me. And so it could have been, I've heard that there's 2 reasons that could be the case, is like how your mom eats when you're in utero, and also the, stress levels. And because I was the 4th child, there were a lot of stress levels when I was in my mom's womb. My dad was not necessarily like signing up for 4 kids. So he caused my mom to feel stressed about being pregnant. And I think some of that has to do with it. But that doesn't mean I can't clear that, right? So I'm just explaining why it's always been an issue. It's not really like a new thing. And I wanted to see if you could pick up any new information or any kind of clearing thing that, because I'm working on it. It's something that's in my mind. Do you want me to rattle off what you wrote so
Yeah.
you can be reminded? Okay. So you wrote, we're going to discuss snacking, because I got triggered by that word. It was an 8. And then you have matter, 6, byproduct, 6. Oh no, 8, byproduct, which I don't remember what that was, 8, emotion, 6, hydrogen, 8. And then at the end you said it's located in the stomach. Like, I guess the root cause is located in my stomach. Is that what that means? Located in the stomach?
Yes, I think that was some of the scar tissue and the matter that we cleared associated with.
Okay. So you listed lots of places. You said it's located in the stomach, hypothalamus, pineal, adrenals, ovaries, thyroid, thymus, amygdala, interstitial fluids, blood, fascia, nerve tissue, brain lobes, brain stem, and cranial nerves. I got it all over.
A lot of
So
places.
help us understand what that means, because a lot of people suffer from excess weight.
Yes, yes. Well, this is another discovery that we've made very recently, I would say over the last month, because we've been looking at, what causes inflammation, what are some barriers to weight loss, and we stumbled upon the digestive process in snacking. And I know snacking has a rather negative connotation. People think snacking and it's like, oh, there's Nicole over there digging her face into a thing of Doritos. And it's like, no, snacking can mean a whole bunch of things. It can be in the middle of a meal, or in between 2 meals, like between breakfast and lunch. I got hungry, I had an apple, right? On the surface, very harmless. It could also be, digging into ice cream. for our purposes of doing this research, the food itself matters less than just the act of interrupting the digestive process, which takes about 4 to 5 hours in length. And I say this as someone who's a lifelong snacker, right? I have grazed. It's like I don't go more, less than like an hour and a half, 2 hours without food. I'm just always eating. Well, we discovered that not only does snacking interrupt the digestive process, but it ends up causing a variety of issues, several of which are scar tissue that is created and stored in various different parts of the body, organs, glands, interstitial fluids. Like I think you had some of those areas as well. And it just leads to excess byproduct storage. So these foods that don't get fully digested get stored in the body. And so through that discovery, we're now able to identify places in the body where if an individual has snacked for a while, they might have the scar tissue, they might just have the excess inflammation and stuff carried over from the snacking that didn't get digested. So we're able to clear that in the field, clear the matter in addition to the energy, and really help to jumpstart the weight loss journey for some people that have kind of, experienced that stagnation for a while.
Yeah. And I love that you cleared it all. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm on the mend. So actually, I loved learning when we discussed snacking. Me and my sister talk all the time, and I called her and I'm like, oh my God. And I was so, excited to share with her the importance of, and what we identified it as, or what you taught me was that anything that creates a caloric reaction. So a piece of gum, a mint, even I think you said lemon in your water can create a calorie reaction. So really the only thing you should be doing between the 4 hours is water with nothing in it, right? Even my sister goes, what about herbal tea? And I'm like, if it creates a calorie, don't do it.
So some herbal tea is good. The 0-calorie herbal tea is fine in water. And so that's what we're seeing when it comes to this interruption in the indigestion. It can throw off a whole slew of things above and beyond weight and inflammation. It can lead to brain fog. It can lead to just us not being able to utilize 100% of our brains, of our muscles, because the body's constantly like working. That's why fasting is getting so popular, right? It's like to give the body a break. But what's really important beyond like that longer fasting window it's giving ourselves 3.5 to 4 hours in between meals throughout the day is what can really lead the body to achieving like optimal health.
And something that I've always said, I want, because I've gone to this chiropractor and he's always educating me. This is like 15 years ago. And he was like, if your body is not like digesting, it can heal. And so that's like the idea of don't give like if you're healing all night long, and then you break your fast, then your body is now the priority always over healing, over time to heal. The priority is always digest what you just put in my body. And think about it. In some cases, if it's not healthy, if it has glyphosate and it's gluten or whatever, that's like a poison. And so the body's like, oh my God, I got to keep her alive. So let me go ahead and keep her alive first. Yeah. And then I'll work on healing it out. It's kind of like, don't make your body have to shift gears to keep you alive by eating something,
You're so true. Yeah, that's so 100% true. It's like and that's what we're doing here with this work as well. It's like we're in each and every session, we're getting everything we can out of the body, but we really also want to set up our clients for success, right? Like here's the lifestyle that if you can adhere to, 80 to 90% of these like areas that we're going to lay out for you, you're going to be a self-healing machine. Your body's just going to be on it constantly. And you're just going to not, be in pain as much, be dealing with the same issues because you're just always churning and burning and healing whatever needs to be healed.
Absolutely. And then the other two that we can go over quickly are, I asked you about seeing if there were any emotional blocks around love and relationships, because I totally feel like I'm open to it, although I have a standard of what I'm looking for. And if that doesn't show up, I'm not willing to sacrifice for a bad situation. I'd rather just wait with hope that the right situation that's going to be what I'm interested in having in a partnership So I wanted to know, were there any blocks? Like, is there something I'm unconscious of that you could see that I could get cleared? And then that would open me up. And when it was right before Valentine's Day. So open me up for love, and so the answers were emotionally, there was a 4 and you cleared it. And then you said it was located in the heart. So, and I mean, that's all you wrote about it. There wasn't much going on there. So what do you want to tell them about that result?
Sure. Yeah. So anytime a client will come to me and say, I'm experiencing this type of an emotional hurdle, emotions are so cut and dry in the quantum. There's really not, most of the time, there's really not a whole lot of stuff connected to it. It's really just the emotion itself we're clearing, and we're finding where specifically it is. With the physical stuff, like let's say you eat a bagel that has glyphosate in it, it can trigger off this like cascade of different responses throughout the body because it's just, laden with toxicity. Emotions, a lot easier. We're going to the source, we're going to where exactly are these stored, and we're asking the body, like, what can we do to alleviate this response this individual is experiencing? So yes, like the number that you alluded to, the 4, is really just the number of batches of those emotions that were at different frequencies. So it did not really come across to me anyway as like there was an extensive amount there. It was pretty much on the surface. It didn't really run deep. Usually when we see higher numbers and I find like multiple batches in different systems, in different organs.
Oh, that's good to know.
That can suggest that like it's a more widespread issue.
Yeah. So I'm cleared and ready for love, right?
You're ready for love, Lydia.
We'll put it out on the airwaves. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so in the final, and we'll wrap it up, is I just said, hey, I could always use extra money. So I asked you to look at my financial prosperity because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't unconsciously blocking anything from coming my way. So the answers you got were on an emotional level, it was a 6. So that's interesting. And it says cleared. And then it says located in the heart, which is very interesting, right? Not like the root chakra or anything, right? It could have been down there, right? And then you even have hydrogen here at an 8, and you cleared that. So let's talk about that. That's so interesting.
Yeah, so very similar to the prior emotional block that we cleared, but the difference here with that hydrogen is, there are good hydrogens and bad hydrogens that come in naturally occurring foods that we need to continuously be eating to replenish our stores. But then we can lose hydrogens in different ways through snacking and GMO food and taking in negative content. Like there's always just this like influx and change throughout our body of what our hydrogen balance is. So the fact that these emotions kind of came attached to hydrogens leads me to believe that there is something there that's not just strictly emotional when it comes to money. You could have been taking in some content at one time that made you nervous about your financial situation and kind of kept that scarcity loop going. Hydrogens could be attached to a food that you consume. Sometimes when we eat food and we're thinking about something, there can be this like emotional response that can also throw your hydrogens off. So the hydrogens for the prosperity clearing that we did made me think that there's something else there just beyond the emotion that was like an activity that you were engaging in. So to clear and restore your hydrogens was like a boost to your, not only just your physical body, but your emotional as well, since we also cleared the associated emotions to that too.
I love that. And what comes to mind is like the act of eating out where you exchange dollars for some form of service. And so to me, that's like an attachment of food to money, right? So that's what comes to mind for me. And I mean, isn't this all about us getting our own answers anyway? You're just the guide that helps us look where to look deeper in what area, right?
Yes, that's kind of how I view myself too. Like I'm a conduit, I'm tapped into your unconscious state, giving you information. And I think the vast majority of the time someone will sit there and kind of think about it and it's like, oh my God, that makes total sense, right? Whether I'm talking about inherited emotion that goes back to their grandparents, I don't know their grandparents, but I'm painting a picture and they're sitting there going, yes, that's totally true.
Yeah.
Or I'm kind of bringing to light, maybe there's some toxicity in your skincare product that could be causing this breakout. The gears start turning, and it just allows people that additional level of clarity that I think is difficult to get, through traditional paths sometimes.
I love that. And that's why I love the quantum, because it goes beyond our physical dualistic world and allows us to tap more into our consciousness, because we are running our own shows, aren't we?
So true. We are. We are. We are.
So this has been so fun. And I know that when you got something exciting to share with us, we'll have you back and we can have another fun conversation about what it is that you're up to. Now, I have to say that this podcast was created out of me wanting to highlight individuals who are making the world a better place. And guess what, Nicole? You qualify.
Yay.
I really appreciate that you are dedicating your life and your service to others in this realm that is so new and on the forefront of healing and helping people heal. And in my podcast, I always say, if y'all go back and listen to some of the episodes, I always say, the point of it is when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. And so if we're complaining about what's happening out there, we need to just divert that attention on ourselves and work on our healing, because we are the world. So as we raise our personal vibration and our consciousness levels, the whole thing shifts. And that's when we get into the new earth and that new reality that we're all that are aware of it waiting for, right?
So true. And you said it so beautifully. It's all about just raising in consciousness and doing our own work so that we can be there to support others and yeah, just experience this beautiful journey of life together. So
and I love what I get to do with the podcast is I get to meet all of you guys. I get to support all of you guys in helping get the message out that you're available, that you're out there, that there are people and situations and circumstances and practitioners who are out there ready to help and serve. And in my experience of listening to the Law of One, Contact with Ra, I understand that our way to personal evolution is when we are in service to others. And so this is my way of being in service to others. And it's obvious, Nicole, that you are in service to others as well.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with you, and I'm just excited for what's to come. Love this work.
Yes. So why don't you let everyone know how they can get a hold of you, and all your different social media platforms are following you in different ways.
Of course, yes. So my website is NicoleLavery.com. You can reach me via email, Nicole@NicoleLavery.com for any session inquiries. And my main social media right now is Instagram. NLE.84 is my handle. You can also find me on LinkedIn under my name, Nicole Lavery.
I'll have to go find you and we'll have Oneness Junkie follow you.
Yeah, I would love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. And I can't wait to continue our journey of getting the message out so that others can learn about you and your team. Why don't you tell them? Didn't you tell me that y'all are going to be launching like a group effort or something? Are you ready to say something about that?
Yes, I can certainly allude to it.
Oh, okay. Or if it's not, prepared yet or whatever, you don't have to mention it. I just thought it might be helpful.
Oh, I would love to. Okay. So just everyone keep your eyes peeled. And if you follow me on social media, I'll probably be doing some posts as it gets closer to the spring and early summer. But this work that I do is really limited to a group of about 10 practitioners. So very few of us in the world who are trained to do this work. And we're going to be joining forces in the late spring, early summer, launching this EO4 initiative that I alluded to about aging and time and all of that good stuff. So keep your eyes peeled. We will be going public with a lot of our research and our findings. It is just starting to like scratch the surface now. As Lydia, you mentioned, this is a paradigm shift and all new stuff, but it's going to be making its way into the public very soon. So
awesome. Well, we can't wait to see that. So we're going to wrap it up. And if you haven't subscribed either to the podcast or to the YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe to Oneness Junkie, and continue to follow all the wonderful people that I'll be introducing you to. So for now, we're going to say goodbye. Bye, everyone.
thank you so much, Lydia. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. We've reached the end of this episode. If you'd like to continue with this inspirational journey, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. If you are a self-proclaimed oneness junkie, get yourself a t-shirt and spread the message of oneness in your community. And finally, if you have a story to share or know someone that should be a guest on this podcast, contact us at onenessjunkie.com. See you next time. And remember, when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Compassion starts with you and me.